computer. Okay, so I'm recording the second part of our assignment. We have, let's see, just let me quickly show you again how to save your pattern. Just a quick review. We fixed it all. We fixed it. It's in this separate, JPEG document. Now I want to select all. So I want to select it all to make a pattern. So I'm going to go, well, Control A is select all, but you can also go select and then pick select all. So here it is, I select all. Then to define, I need to define the pattern. So to define the pattern, I go edit menu. So edit menu and define pattern. So that's what you want to do. You want to define pattern and it'll save it to, or I'll do it, but I'll cancel. So you do it and then you name it, but I'm not going to do this because I have like a million of them saved. And you save it. So then it's saved into your patterns library. Then in our, well, for our background, for our background group, we made a new layer. So it's like new layer, right? And then you just pasted it. So you want to fill that in your background. So it would have been, so I make my new layer, I name it, and then to fill that pattern into that new selected layer, you just go edit fill. So fill as in, you know, fill it up, whatever, fill. So edit fill. Then for the contents, you pick pattern because normally it's foreground, right? So we don't want foreground color. We want pattern. And then you pick which pattern you want because I got a bunch of them. So let's see, I picked this one, right? So there it is. It'll probably at the bottom of the list. So at the bottom of the list and you hit OK, and that should fill. Oh, well, this group was locked, so it wouldn't let me do it. But that's, here, go away, let's see. But that's what you do, okay? And I'll show you again, because we need to do it, now we need to make a new group and we need to fill that again. So I'll show you again real quickly. So now we need a new group and it's gonna be our pattern swatches. So watch, I'm gonna go for the option for layers, I'm gonna go option, new group. So I'm going to go new group and I'm going to name the new group patterns. Let's see, you can name it pattern, patterns, or pattern. I'm going to name mine pattern swatches. I don't remember exact, I don't care as long as it's patterns, pattern swatches, something to do with patterns because these are going to be our patterns. Anyways, I'm going to hit OK. So now I have a new group. In fact, I'm going to lock my background because I don't want to mess up my background group, that is. So I have a new group, swatches, pattern swatches, and I want to make a new, I want to fill my pattern again in this. So I'm going to go new layer. So new layer, and you want to name it. You want to name all your relevant layers. So let's see. Oh gosh. So I'm going to name this circle pattern, or you know, whatever you're going to name it. You can actually come up with a name for this pattern. You want to name it like blue orange, or whatever you want to name it, you name it. Circle, I'm going to name it circle pattern. That's what I'm going to name this. And now I want to paste my pattern onto this layer, this empty layer. So I have an empty layer here. So again, I'm going to go edit fill. So I'm going to fill it. I want to make sure the contents are set to pattern. I make sure I have my pattern selected. Oh, and this is something else I failed to mention. By default, it's 100% normal, but make sure it's 100% normal, meaning it's going to be opaque, right? So, but that's default, so that should be okay. So I just hit OK, and there it is. Now, this is just like what I did for my background, only this time, I want to mask it. I only want to see a 4-inch square of this pattern. Now you still have to do it this way, right? So for your homework, you're going to fill this whole layer just like what I did. And I'll show you again and again. And then I want to have a mask. I want to make a box mask that's 4 inches. So how do I do that? Well, I use my rectangular marquee tool. It's like a little rectangular box selection tool. Boy, that is so distracting, all those patterns. But anyways, if you drag, oh, stupid. Let me uncheck mine so it's not so. So normally when you drag a marquee, you can't even see it with that complicated pattern. Whatever. Normally, I'm going to hide it so you can't see it. Normally, when you drag a marquee, it makes a rectangle, right? And if you hold shift, oh, really? Oh, they changed it. Wait, hold on. Normally, if you only have one box, and you hold shift, it'll be a square. But apparently, if I already have a square and I hold shift, I have to hold, this is new, Alt, no. Oh, they only let you use shift on that first square. But don't worry about that. So, but if you hold shift on your first rectangle, it'll be a square. The problem is, I want you to specifically make your rectangular selection or your square selection. I want it to be 4 inches by 4 inches, okay? Now, there's complicated ways on how to do that. Like you might use your rulers. There's actually a grid option. Oh my gosh, the grid. I don't want to show you the grid, but maybe you learned about it. The grid will show you a grid. Is this 4 inches? So I could just use this to kind of match. Let's see, don't do it this way. So I can go like there, 4 inches by 4 inches. I mean, if you did it this way using the grid, fine, you can do it that way. But I'm going to hide my grid. I'll just, so I'm not going to show the grid. But just be aware, there's a grid, right? What you can do is, with your rectangular marquee, what you can do is, you can set it up. You can set it up to select a certain way. I want it to set up so that it's 4 inches by 4 inch square, right? So it's under the style. Now, hopefully they didn't change this for 2021. If they did, chat it to me and I'll see it. I'll see it in the chat. But I want to do fixed size. Instead of normal style, I want to do fixed size. And I can type in 4 inches, IN, and then I can type in 4 inches. And that will give me a 4 inch. So now that'll give me a 4 inch rectangular marquee, which is more like a square marquee. So if I type that in, so rectangular marquee selected, change the style to fixed size, and then type in 4 inches and 4 inches. So now if I just click, it'll give me a 4 inch box and I can move it around, right? Let me turn on the chat just in case it's like, it's not that way anymore, Dave. They changed it. They always change stupid stuff like that. Like they changed the interface. It's like, don't change it. It works great. Anyway, so I changed my fixed size 4 inches. I click here. There, I got a 4 inch box. Now, I'm going to use that selection to mask this pattern so that you only see the pattern in this 4 inch box. So I'm going to go to my mask button, which is on the bottom of my layers panel. Make sure you have the correct layer selected. I have my circles pattern selected. I'm going to click on the box with the circle in it, and it's going to make a mask. This is the black and white mask, and that's what you want. That's what you want. There's different ways to do this, but I want you to use a mask, okay? This is my mask. You don't throw the mask away. Sometimes masks can get deleted. Like I had a couple students delete a mask. Don't delete your mask. Let me just quickly show you how to delete your mask. Let's see, it's under properties. Under properties, you can actually just, what is it? Is it this button? This will like apply it. So if I apply the mask, it throws it away. So I'm gonna undo that. You don't wanna do that. I think another thing, if I just click on the trash can, I think the trash can, let's see, properties, mask. If I click on the trash, yeah, that deletes it. Oh, that deleted it completely. Ooh, I like that. Okay, good. But you don't keep your mask, because the whole point of a mask is that you can adjust it. Like maybe my art director comes in and she says, I want it to be 5 by 5 inches, not 4 by 4. Well, I can either change the mask or I can throw the mask away, but it's not permanent. The effect of the mask is not permanent, and that's key. So you always keep the mask. Okay, anyways, I have a mask, that's it. One more thing. I want you to apply a stroke on this box. And I'm just going to show you right here. So my circle is selected. My circle pattern is selected. I go to the FX button, which is a layer style effect. And then you're going to go stroke. So there's a lot of different layer styles you can do, but you want to do stroke. And remember, it's the FX button at the bottom of your layer style or your layer panel. So I go stroke. The default is typically black, and the default is typically 3 pixels, I think. You want it to be inside, the position to be inside. If it's not inside, if it's outside, it's okay. But if you can remember inside, yes, that's what I want. And that's it. So it's just a 3 pixel. If it's like 4 pixel, that's okay. But here's what I prefer. 3 pixel size for the stroke, black, which is the default, and then inside. So if you can remember that, do that. If not, if it's close for the stroke, that's okay. I don't even think I'm grading the stroke, but I want it. It might be in the rubric. I don't remember. I don't think it is. I was kind of looking for it. I didn't see it. So that's my first pattern. Now, I'm going to kind of rapidly show you the other ones now. I recorded how to do this pattern. The other ones I'm going to do a little faster because we don't have as much time. So you may not be able to keep up. That's okay if you can't keep up. Just try to watch or try, you know, some of you are kind of fast. Maybe you can do it, but I'm going to go a little faster. And then I'm just going to show you, because I'm going to do the other patterns. They may not be perfect, but I'll do them pretty close. And maybe you'll gain some insight. Maybe you'll see some different ways to do it. But I'm kind of going to do the similar way that I did this one, okay? And then I'm going to set it up the same way. I'm going to fill it as a layer, and I'm going to mask it. And so I'll do that rapidly. So I'm going to kind of do that stuff right now. So first, so it's similar, but I'm going to go a little faster. So I'm going to go back to my bridge. Now I'm going to do this one, this pattern. So I'm just going to open it up in Photoshop. Okay. And then step 1 is I want to check the image size. So I'm going to go image size. And I want to double check. I saved it as 300 pixels per inch for you. You're welcome. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So this is good to go. Now I want to use, here's the thing. When you're doing patterns, you want to figure out the start and stop. You kind of want to find the 4 corners of your pattern. And so here you can, and it's tricky, it takes practice. Maybe there's other online videos that help you. Patterns can be difficult. But anyways, here it's kind of blatant. You can see, okay, here are my 4 corners. So I want to get in the center of these. I don't know what they are. They're like little star, I don't know what they are, blobby things. So again, I highly recommend that we use the perspective crop. And I'm going to go in the center of this, and I'm going to go to the center of all 4 of those circles, I guess. Now, before I commit my crop to crop away the excess, I want to look to see on these edges here, because these little arrows do not line up. These arrows are funky and tricky, right? And so even though now, so what I can do is I can go to the corners of my crop, my perspective crop, and I can kind of adjust it. I hate to say it, but it's better, it's easier to get these, I don't know what they are. They're like, it's like a little bird foot. This little bird foot thing, this little shape, it's better to get that than the circle itself. It's easier to fix the circles. So you want to line up, I recommend, and this is just my recommendation, I recommend you line up these edges so that it's centered on these little bird feet motifs. But if you do it another way and you have to fix your bird feet, that's totally fine. I don't care. I mean, this is just from my experiences of trying to fix this thing. Because you want to be aware of like, okay, I want these to match up. So remember, when it goes out, it's going to go in. So you want this to line up that center as best you can. Then if I could try to match, maybe I can pull this. I want this to be more in the center. So maybe I can pull this down a little more so it's a little more centered. Like you want to try to get the best of both worlds. You can never, it's difficult to get everything perfectly centered. And so you have to make a decision. Well, what's the most important, what's the most difficult thing to change? And that's what you want to line up. And in my opinion, it's these little bird feet things. But I can probably move this up a little more. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, and I'm going to maybe, so this first crop really matters. Let's see here. Okay. I don't know. That feels pretty good. So now I'm ready to commit my crop. So I'm going to press enter, or you can click on this check mark. I always hit enter. I'm going to click on the check mark this time. Okay, there it is. Now, Now I want to check the pixel dimensions, right? Remember how we have to check, we have to get the half of these pixel dimensions. So I'm going to go image size, and let's see. Okay, now if it's not pixels, if it's not pixel dimensions, if it's inches, you change it to pixels. Okay, now I've got 287 to 382. Now I want even numbers on both of these. So the height is an even number, it's 382, but my top number is not. So I need to uncheck the link because I only want to change the width. I want this to be a even number. So I'm going to uncheck the link. And remember, when you change the number, change it down 1 pixel. Don't add, subtract a pixel. So I want this to be 286. Okay. Now, before I hit OK, I need to do the mental math. How dare I have to do math? Okay, so my math is, so 286 divided by 2 is what? 143. And then 382 is 196. Hey, that wasn't so bad. Okay, so you might have to, you have to divide these by 2 and write it down on a piece of paper. You don't want these numbers to be changed. You just want to know what half of these numbers are. Your numbers might be similar to mine, but they probably won't be exact. You might have a couple extra pixels here or there. Okay, but I'm good to go, so I'm going to hit OK. All right. Now I'm on the part where I do the offset filter. I'm going to offset this. It's going to take the corners and flip them all around. So the offset filter is under Filter Menu. It's under Other, and it's offset. So this is where I go. And remember, those complicated handouts, they'll tell you this. They'll say, go to the filter, go to go to Other, and then go to Offset. So I'm going to click on Offset. And then here's my chance to change these numbers. So my first number is 143. My second number is 196. Okay, not bad, not bad. So I'm going to hit OK. So here I can review the damage, right? The damage. Now, remember, when you fix your pattern, you don't fix the corners. The corners are good. Even though they might look funky, they're good. It's the center that you want to fix. So there's kind of like a center axis and a horizontal axis, and then the center. That's what you want to fix. And you can kind of see my mistakes. Let's see, like my circle got messed up, like that's wrecked. But my little bird's foot, that's pretty good. These are pretty good. I can almost leave these. Oh, it looks like I need a little more black here, but that's easy to fix. And then I need to fix my circle here, right? My circle's kind of screwed up. Oh, and I got to fix this. Okay. So let's talk about let's talk about a tool that I never use, but I should probably teach you about it. Here's a tool that you can learn about and forget about. It is, let me see if I can find it. Oh, I'm sorry, it's right here, the clone stamp. The clone stamp, it kind of copies an area and then paints it somewhere else. I'll show you how it works. The problem with the clone stamp is it's tricky. So I'm just going to show you and then you can forget about it. You're like, I love the clone stamp, then fine, you can use it. First, I need to sample a good area. So to sample, I have my clone stamp selected. You hold the Alt key and you get a little target. And then you left click when you have the target. So I'm sampling this area. Then I just paint. And when I paint, it'll kind of sample this area. The problem is, if it goes into an area that I don't want to sample, it's going to mess up. So let's try it. You can see that little plus moving around in that area where I didn't do anything. That stunk. Let me try it here. I want to fix this badly. Let me try the clone stamp here. I'm gonna sample this, and I want to see if I can paint some of this. Oh yeah. But see, look what's happening. It kind of cloned that. It kind of cloned that petal there. Well, I don't want that, so I'm going to undo it. Gosh, can I even get this to work? Not really. This is why I don't like the clone stamp. So the clone stamp is good for other stuff like grass and sand. Anyways, I showed you the clone stamp. If you can get it to work and it helps you, great. I like to copy and paste. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my good old tried and true method, copy and paste. First off, right here, it looks like there's a little extra. Here, I'm going to zoom in. It looks like there's a little extra piece that I don't even need. Oh my gosh, I'm going to leave it on. Okay, so first I select the area that I want to fix. Then I move my selection with the lasso itself. So I use the lasso to select the area I want to fix. I move it to a good area with my lasso. Then I switch to the move tool, which is V. The shortcut is V. And I have to hold the Alt key to copy and paste right on top of that. So for me, that's the easiest way to do it. And then Control D is deselect. Now, boy, wouldn't it be nice if I could get this piece and just copy and put it over here? Well, I can. Let me show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to select this part of my blue circle. And remember, oh, I have to avoid, I'm avoiding the black marks here. You might find a better way. If you find a different way to fix this, go for it. But I want to copy this thing. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to use my move tool, which is V. I'm going to hold the Alt key and I'm going to copy. But now what I need to do is I need to flip it. I need to flip this selection. And there is an option, there is a transformation option to flip. So it's under Edit, Edit, Transform. And you'll notice that under here, there's a lot of different weird transformations. But on the bottom, there's a flip horizontally, which is left to right, and a flip vertically, which is up and down. So this is sometimes useful for patterns. Like you copy something, each want to reflect it. It's very similar to a reflect. So just remember, it's under Edit, Transform, Flip horizontally. So I'm going to flip it. All right, that's pretty good. And I'm just going to kind of match it. Ooh, it doesn't match perfectly though, so let's see. Okay, so now I've got another problem. It's covering up some of these marks. Now you're probably thinking, don't worry about it. Like, it's always gonna, no one will notice it. Well, they kind of will. But here's what I could do in this circumstance. I don't want this selection on top of this black mark. So if I hold the Alt key with my lasso, I'm gonna use my lasso. I'm gonna unlasso some of this area. Watch, I'm gonna hold the Alt key. I'm gonna unlasso that. Maybe, now this is where you have to be real careful because I just want a little bit more. I'm gonna unlasso here. So I'm holding the Alt key with my lasso and I'm unlassoing some of this. Now it may not be perfect, because the problem is I don't know how far that black mark goes, right? So I'm kind of guessing. So you just want to do it gradually and carefully. And then do I have a little bit of this black mark here? Oh, I do. But maybe I'll just leave it. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That's better, right? It may not be perfect. Remember, we're trying to fool the viewer, right? Like we're trying to get it as close. Like this thing's not even perfect. Like look at how this, like look at how these black marks are touching here on the blue, and then here they're far away. That's just the original print of this pattern. The original print wasn't perfect. So I can kind of get away with some of these mistakes. You still want it to be seamless, but because this is a printed or a silk screened printed pattern, it has some inconsistencies like this that give it charm, quote unquote. Okay, anyways, I got this pretty good. I'm gonna deselect, Control D. I still need to fix this thing. So I'm gonna select my flaw. I'm gonna move my selection with my, just gonna move out. See, the problem is the farther away I move out, the more different it'll look. It looks kind of like a gray. I'm gonna go here. Then I'm gonna use my move tool, shortcut V. I'm gonna hold the Alt key. I'm gonna copy this and just put it right here. Okay, deselect, Control D. That's okay, that's pretty good. Now let's see, I've got some other little flaws here. Let's try, this isn't so bad, but this is bad. So again, I'm just gonna, let's see, oh, you know what I'm gonna use? I'm gonna use my smudge. So watch, smudge. Now I could copy, I can make a little selection, move it and just paste some of this better, better gray or whatever it is. I'm gonna use my smudge. Now my smudge, if my smudge is about, my smudge is about 3 pixels in size. Here, I'll make it 4. It's gonna drag all 4 of those colors. If I start in the beige and I'm gonna drag over the blue, it'll drag those beige colors over. That's why I like smudge. I'm probably the only teacher that'll ever teach you how to do this. This is a terrible workaround that I had to figure out on my own many years ago when we didn't have all these other fancy correction tools. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And I figured this out. So other teachers are like, why would you ever do that? Because it works. Watch again. So again, I got my smudge. Remember, the strength of my smudge is set to 100%. Now, don't smudge big things. Don't go like this. Oh, I'm just gonna smudge that. Like, no, no. This smudge works best for very tiny, you can see the pixels. Like it's about 3 or 4 pixels in size. Cause like, how do I know it's 4? Because it's like about the size of 4 pixels. And I'm just gonna smudge it over 4 pixels. And don't go crazy, just fix what you have to fix and just let it go. That's working really well. So that worked very well for that. Oh, here I need some more blue. So you start in the blue and you smudge it over, but don't do this. I get students, please don't do this. They're like, Dave taught me the smudge. I'm gonna go like this. Yeah, like they just, you know, and they're like, yeah, it's all right. And they're like, it's fine, it's good. Dave taught me, please don't do this to me. Because then the other teachers would be like, Dave taught you to do that crap. No, Dave taught you the good way, the way that looks good, not the bad way. All right. But anyways, if you're zoomed in very close and it's only like 3 or 4 pixels, you can smudge them 3 or 4 at a time and it works. It's just easy. I can maybe almost do it here. Let me try it. This is almost cut and paste. You try it though. So not so big. What you can do is you can do 1 line at a time too. So like, here's another way I do it. So I got like 2 pixels. I'm going to go these 2 pixels and then I go up these 2 pixels. So you saw, I'm very careful about it. I'm very zoomed in and I'm not overdoing it. I'm going one, it's almost like you're stitching it back. Okay, finally, let's see. I got this. I think I'm going to copy and paste this selection. So again, I need a little more black here. So I need a little more black. So I make my selection. I'm going to move my selection with my lasso. I could move it here, I guess. And then to copy it, I use the move tool. And I hold the Alt key and I just copy it back. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is a tiny little detail. Let's see. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, look. This should probably be black. So again, same thing. I could probably smudge it, but I'm gonna make a selection of the flaw, move the flaw with my lasso, use the move tool, shortcut V, hold the Alt key, drag this back. You're like, Dave, stop saying V, stop. Dude, someone's gonna be like, what did you press? I promise you. And you're like, oh, that was me, I said that. Don't worry, I was the same kind of student. If that's you, I'm not judging, I'm just saying it's gonna happen. I have a choice here. This is weird. I could either A, maybe try to blend this a little, or B, try to make this more black. This is where you have to make the decision, like what looks good to you. I think a little less black here. Maybe I'm gonna smudge it away a little bit. Let's see. There. So it's up to you. And then maybe I want to smudge. That's kind of a little 2-point. And now I'm getting crazy. I just want to get rid of that black little. Oh, oops. Oh wait. Oh, wrong tool. Smudge. Like I don't want that little. I just want that to be gone. Just a little more. But see how nice it is to work at the pixel level. Now you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, do I have to do this all the time? No. But like if the pattern really mattered, and when you get really good at it, you could totally do it. Like. It just takes practice. I'm hoping, again, I need to select the portion I want to fix. I'm hoping that with practice, I'm going to use the move tool, drag it back. With practice, this will be second nature. It's kind of second nature for me. And it makes making these fixes kind of easy. Okay, so now I've got this problem. I got this. This doesn't match up. Again, I need black here. So I need black here. I'm going to move it into the black. Move tool, Alt key, there it is, Control D. I need a little bit more white here. Maybe that tiny smudge, maybe a tiny 1 pixel smudge. Just smudge that in a little. Yep, that's good, that's good. And then let's see, this one looks okay now. What about, oh shoot. Okay, I got some funky, I got some lines. I got a little bit of a line here, a little bit of crosshair. So I'm gonna use my spot healing brush and I'm just gonna try to fix that. Yep, it kind of blended it in. I got a little bit here, so I'm gonna blend that. Maybe that'll blend it a little. Good. I got a little bit here, blend it. Okay, so spot healing brush is good. Oh, here, okay, here I got a kind of a line and a line. So here I've got some problems too. So same thing, I'm gonna make the selection of the area I wanna fix. I'm gonna drag it into black. And I kind of don't have enough, barely. Move tool, Alt copy, Control D. This I could probably cut out. So I'm gonna, oops. Lasso, I'm gonna lasso the selection, I'm going to move my selection to an area that I want. Move tool, Alt key to copy and paste back. Control D, deselect. Okay, so that's looking pretty darn good. Oh, I got another flaw here. Shoot, okay, I'm not gonna fix it, but you would fix this flaw because I wanna move on to my next pattern, but you'd fix that. Let me show you one more. You probably won't be able to see it on Zoom, and this is kind of a shame, but there's a tool that I like to use a lot. Let me turn off the pixel grid. And this will be hard to see, but maybe you will experience this. What's happened is, this is real pixely. It's kind of grainy, like it's kind of like Minecraft grainy up here. But here it's almost a solid color. And it's kind of like, it kind of looks weird. This looks like a solid color, but this looks grainy. Can I get this texture back in here? And the answer is yes. And now you may not totally need this, and you may not be able to see it on Zoom, but I just want to show you. I use this tool a lot. It's called the patch tool. The patch tool is underneath. It's underneath a spot healing brush. It looks like a little patch. And what you do is this. It's kind of like what I'm doing with the copy and paste, but it only copies texture. Let me show you. And it's going to be hard to see, so I don't know what to tell you. But this is kind of soft. There's kind of like soft. There's like a soft spot here. And I want kind of a texture to be there, like the texture from over here. So what you do is this. To move and I just made a patch. I just drew it. I just drew this patch with my patch tool. Then you move the patch by moving the patch away. Like you move this thing away, and this is going to sample. So if I go here, it's going to sample that. But I want to get this texture. And when I let go, it's going to apply this texture onto the original spot. So I'm going to let go. Now it might be hard to see, but the texture is in there. So if you ever, I don't know what to tell you. It's hard to tell. So again, I'm using my patch. Here it's kind of soft. I'm going to just make a spot here. I'm going to drag it out here because I got like this nicer pattern. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but hopefully you can. When I let go, it's going to sample this and put it in here. And it kind of added a little texture. This is for fine tuning if things get soft. Now you might be thinking, but that texture is like crap. It looks terrible. Why would I want to include that crappy texture? Here's why. If you clean a spot and it looks too neat, it doesn't fit with the rest of the terrible pixelated texture. And I know this sounds counterintuitive, but by adding the gross texture back over the clean spot, it makes that clean spot fix feel like it makes it feel like it belongs to the overall crummy looking image. And you're like, oh my gosh, Dave, really? Yes. Now you may not have to do this too much in your life, but sometimes you want something like ultra realistic. If it's an ultra realistic picture with crappy texture, you've got to copy and paste that texture and you can use the patch. And that's to make a long story short. Now, just let me show you one more thing. Let's experiment with the patch real quick, and then I'll leave the patch alone. Let's see what happens if I move this over to the black. Now, I said it just copies the texture, not the... So I'm going to actually put this in there. Let's see if it includes the black. I don't think it will. Ooh, it did. Oh, look at this. Diffuse. Okay, so it's use pattern. Let's see what else other options we've got. Nope, I don't want that. Ooh, it's not using that. It better not. Source. Okay, so, okay. Sometimes though, it won't. Maybe it's because it's so dark, it's so black, it included that. But like, okay, let me try it this way. Let me go the blue. Oh, okay, fine. So go to the pattern that you need. Not, I guess it is applying. It didn't used to do that, but I might have a setting. Anyways, that can be useful. Okay, so I'm done here. Except for this, I'm not going to fix it, but you would fix that. Let's see. Is everything else? Maybe I would get rid of this little spot. I'd probably fix that. Maybe I would clean this spot. Maybe I'd clean this little spot. But that's you, not me, right? Okay. So now I'm ready to save this as a pattern. So I'm going to go File. No. First, I need to select all. So Control A will select all, or because I want to select all of this to be a pattern, right? Or I could go Select Menu and I could pick all, or Control. It says Control A. Okay, so I selected all. Now I want to define pattern. So I go edit menu. So I go edit, define pattern. And I'm just going to hit OK. But you would name it something. I'm going to hit OK. So there it is. I defined the pattern. Now I'm going to go back to my project. And this is what you're going to do for your homework. So now in my pattern, oh boy, in my pattern layer group, I'm going to make a new layer. So I just make a new layer. I could just do it. I could do it here. New layer. Okay. And I can name it Peacock or whatever you want to name it. Okay. Peacock. Enter. So now this layer is empty. So I need to fill this layer with my pattern. So I'm going to go edit menu. So I'm going to go edit, fill, F-I-L-L. Now it should have remembered all of my settings, but I want a pattern fill. So I go pattern. I have to pick the pattern. So here it is. It's on the end. You can see I've got multiple versions because I've done this like 50 times, right? But anyways, there it is. And then make sure it's fill 100% opacity normal. Usually it is. So I hit OK. So there it is. There's my giant pattern. I want to double click to make sure it's seamless. It better be seamless. I'm the teacher. Look at this though. Ooh, here's a little bit of a bummer. But overall, it looks pretty good. The question is, to what level am I going to grade your pattern? I'm probably going to be, I'm not going to zoom in. Well, I might, but I'm not going to zoom in this close. I'm not going to zoom in this close to look at your pattern. I'm probably going to look at it about, let's see. I'll probably zoom in like maybe once or twice. I'll probably go like, oops, I'll probably go like, so this is normal. I'll probably go like once, twice. I'll probably look at it like this. I'll probably look at it. If it looks good like this, you're okay. I'm not going to go like this. I'm not going to go, uh-oh, what did, uh-oh. Oh, they didn't fix that. Can't even see that. That's part of the frayed fabric of that original. Like this was photographed from a real, like either a carpet or a drape or something. So I'm not going to, anyways, that's it. Okay, so now I need to make my mask. I need to mask it so it's a 4-inch square. Okay, well, I use my rectangular marquee tool. I make sure if it's already set to 4 inches by 4 inches, you're good to go. But remember, it's going to be fixed size, 4 inches by 4 inches. I just click. So I just click here. It's hard to see, but I have a rectangular marquee. It's there, trust me. Then I need to make the mask. To make the mask, I go to the bottom of the layers panel. It's a black circle, black box with a white circle. There it is. Oh my gosh, are we almost out of time? It's 12:15. No. Oh, it's 11:15 that we get out. Oh my gosh. I got a couple more minutes. So I'm not going to get to that. I'm going to rapidly show you that final one. Okay, so here we go. I've got it. I told you to make a stroke on it. So I'm going to go stroke. It's probably saved. It's three pixel size, inside black. I hit OK. I'm going to move it into position. Okay. Then I'm going to fix the last one. The last one is squares, or they're like tiles. I'm not going to do it because I ran out of time. But it's going to be the same way that the one I just did. So it's going to be this one. I got to do this one. Okay. Now, this one's a little tricky, but just let me quickly show you. When you do the offset pattern and you have a diamond, like this is not a diamond, it's a square. The squares, you're going to have, it's tricky. You got to find your own way on this one, right? But you'll find like, maybe I'll start this one in the corner, right? And then you'll kind of drag it down, but it's going to be a little tricky. But one thing you can do is this. If your square in the middle is all jacked up and stupid looking, you could, if you do it carefully, like let's imagine this one's really stupid and bad looking, you could very carefully kind of copy an extra, like you can copy and you could do, like you could just move it on top of because the one in the middle is going to be messed up, right? So you might do something like that. You can move some of these tiles around if needed, but you'll see when you get to it. This one's a little tricky, but you have to have some kind of challenge. Okay, there's one more thing I got to tell you, and that's we need text. We need text for these. So I'm going to have one more pattern in this group, but I'm going to make a third group. The third group is going to be, so new group. It's going to be my text or titles. You can call it text or titles. So now I have a text group. I'm going to use my type tool. To type, you're just going to click once on your screen and you're going to type. I want to name this orange circle pattern. Gosh, can I spell circle? Kind of like orange. Like I went to school out there near the orange circle, right? Chapman. Okay, so orange circle. When you're done typing, you're going to click on the check mark or press enter. Oh, oh no, you do have to press the check mark. So you either press the check mark, or you press new tool to stop typing. Okay, but here it is. The text is in my type layer. Okay, now I need another one. I use my type tool. I click once and type it again. This one's going to be, you know, Neo Peak. You can come up with a name. I don't care how you name it. Oh my gosh, can't even spell peacock. I hope that's how you spell it. When you're done, you click on the check mark or click on a different tool. Okay, and then there's going to be a third one, right? It's going to be tiles. Now, now you could just type again, or you could just select one of your type layers, hold the Alt key, copy it. You don't have to do it this way. And then you can use your type tool and just highlight that and just change the name. This one's going to be blue tile. But remember, you can come up with any kind of name. So I have 3 type layers in a type group, and here they are, right? They're organized in a group. Now you want to line these up just as best you can. Here's how you line them up. You select all 3 of those layers. Now, right now they're in a group, so I can't just select the group. I have to go in and select these individually. So I'm going to select that layer. I'm going to hold Control and click all 3 of these. So I select, oh, dude, really? Control. Okay, so I selected all 3 of these. Then I can use the alignment tools up here. Now, for some reason, what is this? This is, is this distribute? That's why it's funky. So I want to line them up to the bottom level. I'm basically lining them up to themselves. Hopefully you remember this from Illustrator. But I could do this one. This is like what? This is horizontal align center. So it should line them up in the center. And then these ones in the middle, these are distribute. So I want to distribute them evenly. And boy, it's going to be, this is what, horizontally? Yeah, distribute horizontally. And so I click here. If that doesn't, try your best. If that doesn't work, just move them as closely as you can. The main thing I'm grading on this is your patterns. Your patterns are what really matter. Finally, I could line these up too. So I could go into my pattern swatches. I only have 2 of them, but there will be 3. There'll be a third one. I can select all 3. I hold Control. I click all 3 of these layers. I want to line them up. I want to vertically center them. Whoa! Why did it do that? Ooh. Maybe I had another. Do I have something else selected? Do I have my text selected? No. Okay. I don't. Oh, I know why. I know why. It's because of my masks. So the image is very large. So don't worry about, so try to just, okay. So if something weird like that happens to you, just line them up yourself. You can just very carefully try to line them up, space them. You can use the grids, but don't worry, that's fine. Okay, finally, let's say I have, this is what you're doing. So you're gonna have 3 patterns, text, 3 groups. I have a text group, a pattern swatch group, a background group. When you're all done, you're gonna save it. That's your big file. Then, and I'm going to save mine right now. It's not done, but I'm saving it. Then it's like, okay, or I apologize for going over class time. Then when you're all done, this needs to be a lower resolution, right? So I'm going to save a new version as 150. So I'm going to go edit, no, I'm sorry, image size, 150, right? So 150, that's how you make it a lower res. Hold on, this has to be. Nope. So this, I was right. So these had to be linked. So 150. Okay, so resample is checked. These are linked. That's good. So it's going to make it smaller. Remember, this is going to be a copy. Now, if you're concerned, and I would save this as, I would go File, Save As. And I'm going to save this as, instead of Photoshop, it's going to be Photoshop PDF, which is down here. Now, yours might just say PDF. But try to find Photoshop PDF. It should be the same. When you save it, you're going to say yes to all the options. Let's see. High quality, yeah. Preserve, you want preserve. Yeah, you just hit save. So that's good. By default, that's good. Now, this is a big file. If you still have problems submitting this to Canvas, I give you permission to change this size even smaller to 8.5 by 11. So if this doesn't upload to Canvas, you're going to go edit. I'm sorry, not edit. I'm so sorry. Image size. And I'm just going to do 11 across. Oh, that's weird. It's a little less than 8. Funky. That's fine. So 11-inch width, and just hit OK. It's because the reason why it's not 8.5 by 11, so this is correct, 11 by 7 something. It's because the proportions don't properly scale down to 8.5 by 11, but this is good. So you could do this. You could even save this as a third one, like ultra small submission, and or just like low, and just submit this one. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to stop recording. I told you everything you need to know. Watch these videos if you need it, but I apologize for being late. So let's see here.